Welcome to my studio. This is a place of no expectations and no judgment. I am feeling pretty congested. My nose is a bit stuffy, and here I am with my super full palette and thinking about how painting is going to be here today to make me feel better. So we're thinking about motivation and just an overall feeling of congestion today. I have a little dish that I found on the street for my mineral spirits today. And I'm just going to dive right in. I am thinking about the sky and how it actually really mirrors my stuffy nose, because it's just packed in here right behind these trees, and I've kind of been avoiding it because I don't really know how to make it all fit. So I'm going to start with my tree. I'm definitely going to be a mouth breather today, so keep an eye out for it. This green tube is getting a little bit crunched up too, so definitely thinking about congestion and how these materials are deeply reflective of the way I feel while working on this painting. So I'm just crunching up this tube and it has exploded. No problem. I'll just wipe it on the canvas because I'm looking for some depth and texture to add to these bushy leaves. If you've seen a past few of my videos, you'll know that I'm pretty focused on the bushiness of these trees. Like, I want them to really look alive. And I'm also in a state of exponential growth in my life. And so I'm not surprised that I just want to focus on the growth of these leaves and trees and make sure there's lots of it. If you've been here before, you know that this painting is called Queen of Experimentation. And I have a policy that you don't have to like my work, and maybe I'm just here in the background, here to support you through you spending some time making art, maybe even cleaning the dishes or the house. And so I've managed to capture a little bit more of my studio today, and you can see how full it is if we're thinking about congestion, thinking about stuffiness. My studio is a very full space, full of materials that really anything you could think of, full of artwork that I've made in the past and small little trinkets of inspiration that I surround myself with. And you can see I have this little basket full of oil paints that I'm pulling from. And yeah, there is a rhyme and a reason to my super full palette. There are colors that definitely have assigned places, and on the opposite side of the palette, I'm a little more structured and I have very small areas of color that I use for more traditional oil painting techniques, like when I made this mug. And then I have my expressive side, which I use far more often. And I have my colors just scattered across, and it makes me quite happy to see. It looks like me. It looks like my process. So I encourage anybody thinking that their palette has to look a certain way to make it your own. Put down paint where you want the paint to go. I do get a little anxious sometimes that I'm not recording, so here I am just double checking that we are live, we are on a roll here. So I'm starting with the sky and just dabbing in little bits of blacks and blues to capture that it's nighttime. And I'm adding some black to little splotches in the bushly bits of the trees to make it have that appearance that there is a sky behind the leaves that is shining through. This painting is so many layers that I tend to be really unhinged in the way that I apply paint, because if it does come out in a way that doesn't totally capture my vision, I'm just going to paint over it once it's dry. Most of the time it ends up working. So there's a lot of trust in hoping that through these experimentations of my application, I know what I'm doing. Really have to trust myself, and I hope fellow artists feel the same at least once or twice while you're making your artwork. Right now I'm trying to make a little bit of a purpley color. It's interesting with the blue I have, which is like a cobalt and ultramarine, and I'm mixing it with the deeper red. I'm not too sure what the name is for that red. It comes out almost black, even though I'm using absolutely no black whatsoever. Once it dries, there's a small hint of purple. It does come out a bit dull, but I do think it captures the night sky vibe. There is a little bit of a grayness to it. You can see the energy start to come out where, yeah, I don't feel physically great. Even in my voice right now, you might notice that it is a bit stuffy. But I'm standing up, I'm moving, I'm thinking, I'm using my brain, and I'm doing something that feels authentic to me, and the energy starts to come out. The intentionality in my brushstrokes starts to change. My philosophy regarding these videos is that I don't have to do anything perfectly. None of us need to do anything perfectly. But we are in an age of society where the production value is expected to be over the top and immaculate. But I think something about that takes away the rawness of what my process actually looks like. My process is messy. My process is so imperfect in its raw expression. And I really hope it inspires other people to just create without thought, without thinking that your artwork belongs to anybody else. It belongs to you. I'm currently smoothing out some of the textures I've put in the sky. Hoping it smooths out all of the inflammation I am feeling in my head. I'm not afraid to share that I'm kind of in pain, but the artwork can be so containing and so cathartic that I forget I'm in pain. I forget that I've needed 3 cups of coffee just to keep going with my day. I slept in a little extra, but you reach a point where rotting in bed becomes counterproductive. And so creativity can be quite low effort when you approach it with spontaneity and pride that you did anything at all. I know life can be difficult, and I would say the person I'm presenting in these videos isn't in the healthiest place. I've just finished 2 years of intensive graduate training to become an art therapist, and I've been learning how to take care of other people. But what comes after that is realizing, oh my goodness, I really got to learn how to take care of myself. So it's my hope as these paintings progress, as you progress in your creative journey, or even just ambient journey as me, as a fellow person in the background, that we all become a little bit healthier, a little bit stronger. You can see I'm starting to move more. I'm a little more fluid listening to the music. This is what art does. It transforms us. I do use old t-shirts to clean my brushes or old rags. It's always good to reduce, reuse, recycle. That's certainly a part in my process that I'll continue to share about. I don't only paint, I love working with found objects as well. And that'll probably be the next piece that we focus on. It's an intense piece where right now I need a calm, safe environment. And this painting is providing that. So that's why I chose it first. And so I've painted in a lot of dark ambient colors in the night sky. There's little hints of blues, purples, and reds. And I'm going to start adding in some stars. They're going to be abstract, I will say. And here's my stumpy brush that I cut up and really love. But these stars are going to blend in to this black paint. And I'm using a super thin brush right now. And let's see how we feel about adding those stars. Got you a T-Rex hand, right in frame, beautiful. Look at it holding that brush, thinking about, do I like these stars? And my idea is that the stars have a bit of a white glow to them. There's also a yellow shape. Looks like a crosshair. Kind of a glimmery diamond with convex corners. And I think I like them. I envisioned there being stars in the background, so I'm going to keep going. I'm going to add little white spots throughout the piece and consider a composition here of where the night sky is meeting the eyes of the viewer. I think some of them will be peeking out from behind the trees. And I think some of the bigger stars will have tiny little glimmers right next to them. If you're wondering what the cage swinging in the background is, it's a mannequin. It's hanging from the ceiling. If we're talking about congestion and stuffy places, my studio is pretty small. And I love it just the way it is. And so the mannequin hanging from the ceiling saves space. Boop. 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 What's so interesting about this painting is that, no, I don't want it to be perfect, but I do have a light source. My idea is that the moon is just above and off the left top corner. And no, I don't want to follow all the rules exactly. But I do think in order to honor the narrative of the Queen of Experimentation, that we do consider the more academic teachings of art making and give her the depth that she does possess. And so right now I'm a little off screen, but I'm just adding in some grayish white hues to the top left-hand corner. If you're doing something along with me, maybe you've just closed your eyes at this point and laying down. Maybe you're doing the dishes, maybe you're painting or drawing. I hope it's going well. And I just want to tell you, if you've felt stuffy and unmotivated to do things, that you are capable of doing even the smallest little thing. It may lead to a stronger sense of glimmer in your life, just like these stars. What I also like about these little stars is they seem to be radiating from the central figure, even though we know it's a night sky. There is something about them that seems deeply connected to our mystical queen in the middle. And that's where we start to get into symbolism in painting. And I'll be honest, I don't know if I have the mental capacity with my sniffles to really go into the symbolism today, but we are really all star stuff. We are made from the universe, something greater than ourselves. And I think this central figure with these stars around her alludes to that. She symbolically represents the level of purity and confidence that we all possess the ability to evoke. And so now I'm looking at my very yellow stars and thinking, wow, in the middle of those stars, they're probably really bright. So I'm coming in with a bit of pure white and just honestly scrambling it in there because my brain feels a bit scrambled. We tend to create the way we feel in that moment. And I think these scattered stars and kind of free painting approach that I'm taking right now does deeply resemble how I am feeling. And you can see that there's a lot going on around this open sky. It's been very condensed. And I choose pieces of this painting that I feel relates to me on that day. And so my openness feels very closed in, a bit clogged up because of my stuffiness. And I'm getting to a point of the painting where I've been working on it for a little bit, and I feel confident to touch a piece that I've been so excited to work on. And these are the birch trees. Birch trees are symbolic of communication and strength. And if we think about them a little deeper, they are these shedders. They shed their bark and they reveal a new self underneath. And I deeply hope that for myself when I wake up tomorrow. I'd like to feel a little bit fresher, a little less puffy. And so I do have these trees left over from some mineral spirits that I dumped on the painting where it was originally silver. I painted a thin layer of black on top, and then the mineral spirits revealed the silver underneath by removing the black when I dumped it on top. And it made these very thin, spindly tree-like figures that I have always seen as birch trees. So I'm not going too hard on the white. I want some of that silver to still come out, but I'm really just emphasizing that these trees exist. And somewhere in the midst of filming, I got so involved in the process that I didn't realize how long I'd been painting, and my camera fell asleep just as my partner handed me a glass of water. Gotta stay hydrated. And so I didn't paint for much longer after this, but I did add in some definition to the trees. I didn't want anyone to feel robbed of my final little dance of how I was feeling when I was done painting. You can see the little bark specks, an update on my t-shirt here. The dance, because we feel better. We've painted, we've created, and now we have an overview of what the painting is looking like after I added in the little black texture marks on the birch trees with a couple of leaves. I added a little bit of red to the dress because I had leftover red paint. I was mostly done. And so, until next time. Bye.